Hey, I'm back with another video. So, baby, okay, when I did the whole the Crissle and Cardi video, like I said, I had just woke up that morning and I saw maybe two TikToks on it. And I was like, okay, I see like two, and I maybe saw two people on Twitter talk about it. I was like, you know what? Let me just hop on and do it. I did that video before it like really hit. I did it before Cardi responded. So I genuinely did not think that it was gonna go to where like it is now. I think it's kind of crazy how big this has actually became. Thank you for everybody that watched my video. I know it was long, I know I talked a lot, but whatever. So I'm here because I want to talk about I want to talk about two things. Number one, Cardi did respond, which is very surprising that she responded at all. But it's mostly surprising the way that she responded. She responded probably in a much more like mature way than we expect from Cardi. That's number two. And number three, I want to start off here. I want to start off by like going through some of the main talking points, because y'all know when something happens, everybody regurgitates the same 3 to 4 points on like both sides, whether you're for or against or in the middle. So I just want to kind of go through all of those points before we actually move on to what Cardi said, right? So first thing I want to say is that everybody's doing too much. We need to wrap this shit up by the end of the day today. The same way I felt like Crissle gave way too much energy for somebody that she don't know, I feel the same way with like the discourse. We're giving way too much energy into some shit that we're saying is not really that big of a deal. So like everybody can have their opinion, nothing wrong, but like let's wrap this shit up by end of the day today. I don't want to talk about this shit no more, especially now that Cardi has said what she said. Let's not talk about this shit no more. The people that are understanding of what Crissle said, y'all are doing too much. The people who don't understand what Crissle said, y'all are doing too much. And I'm gonna go through all of the points of how all of y'all are getting on my damn nerves at this point. First thing is that's constantly being said is that, well, the only reason that y'all are mad at Crissle is because y'all don't watch the show. I've seen that I don't know how many times. I'm so tired of y'all saying that. Just because somebody does not agree with something, that doesn't mean that we don't watch the show, that we don't listen to the show. As I said, and I'm not bullshitting when I know a lot of people have said this, but I can literally pull up my SoundCloud as proof to show that I've been listening to the read since 2013 when I was a freshman in college going into a sophomore. That's when I started. To be fair, I actually started on the episode when Keisha Cole had went off on Beyond or had talked bad about Michelle during the 2013 Super Bowl, and they came on there and they dragged the shit out of was it K Michelle? No, it was Keisha Cole. They dragged the shit out of Keisha Cole. That's the very first episode of The Read that I ever tuned into. That was 2013, and I've been listening every single week since. Now, in between, yes, The Read has had some breaks. Kid Fury has had some mental struggles. But be clear, I've listened to every episode. So please stop telling people just because they disagree with Crissle that means that they don't listen to the show. Oh, y'all don't listen to the show because that's how she always talks. That's another point I want to get to, too, about she always is that my bad, I cut my video off. But I think that was my next point, is that she always talks like that. No, she does not. That's why, as somebody who listens every week, this is my thing. This is mostly a big deal because people that listen, this is what y'all are not understanding. We're talking about this only becomes a thing if the people who engage with the podcast and actually listen to the podcast felt like there was some weird shit going on there. This is not, trust me, Cardi didn't go out of her way to go and listen to this show. Nobody who doesn't listen to the show went out of their way to specifically look for something that somebody within the read could say. That's not how that went. The clip went viral because of the people that do listen to the read and how we were thrown off by that one section. So what the fuck are you talking about? We don't even get to this point if people that don't listen to the read didn't have a problem with that. So going back to my point of she always talks like that. No, she does not. And specifically, this is my thing. Yes, Crissle has a lot of energy with the things that she talks about, but a lot of times that in particular energy is saved for shit that fucking matters. So for example, when they talked about, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to get pulled, but when CK, y'all know what I'm talking about? When everything was going on with him over the last 2 weeks, even at the end of that episode, she went off on him. I am used to her taking that energy towards shit that actually matters. political things, social things. That's normally what she's yelling and screaming about. Second of all, for everybody talking about it's called The Read. Okay, that, if anything, that shows me that you don't listen to the fucking show, because the read is at the end of the show. What y'all are not even realizing is that that portion of the show was just the hot topics. When it comes to the hot topics, they normally don't go that hard. It's normally them just, talking about it, giving their little kiki. Normally, they go in on the read. And a lot of times, if it's something that they're truly about to go the fuck off on and they bring it up during hot topics and they both about to go in, normally they'll be like, you want to know what? Let's just hold that to the read. So what are y'all talking about? That whole section was not even the read portion. It was just the hot topic section. So what the fuck? Again, talking about people that don't watch it. Y'all don't even know what the fuck y'all are talking about. Okay? What else do we got? I brought this up on my last thing, but I'm so tired. I'm just so tired of y'all are only defending her because she's light-skinned. No, I can't speak for everybody else. Let me not speak for everybody else. I am not defending Cardi because she's light-skinned. And I'm not even necessarily defending her because if you watched my whole video, I said, where I stand to be very clear is the crux of Crissle's message, I understood what she was saying. But the way that she delivered it, and it's not just the delivery, it's a lot of the extra assumptions and things that she said that was unnecessary. There was an assumption made that Cardi may not know how hard it is to take care of kids because she may not be involved with the everyday raising of a kid, and the nanny is probably doing that. I didn't think that was the best thing to say. I think that's a wild assumption. That's assuming that Cardi don't take care of her kids and somebody else does it for her. I think it was a wild, I didn't like the fact that she said that you cheated on your husband with Stefan. That's not how that happened. I did not like the comment about her dying on the damn surgery table, and I didn't think it was necessary to say how bad of a performer that you was. I think that was missing. I think all of that was outside of the freaking point. That's what I was saying, and I felt like the energy was just a little bit too much for, again, some shit that really at the end of the day ain't that fucking important to you or your life. That's where I stand on it. Now, like I said, what was back to my original point? Because I done lost my damn train of thought going on. Because she's light-skinned. No. I hate when y'all do this to almost anybody. Because, again, maybe I could be sensitive because I literally just had a baby like a year and some change ago. So I could be sensitive around this. But I'm real sensitive about how people, talk about women that are pregnant. It bothers me to my core because, first of all, if you go back on my page, I did a video about the way y'all was talking about Hallie. Now, I know that Hallie is light-skinned too, but I didn't like when y'all did it with her. I didn't like when y'all was trying to fuck a force Flo Millie to tell y'all whether or not that she was pregnant. For me, as a black woman, I don't care whether you're light-skinned or you're dark-skinned. I have a problem when people are overly judgmental when people are pregnant. Like I said, we all have our opinion. I'm just sensitive to that because, again, I just had a baby, so I know how that shit feels to be judged very harshly, specifically when you are carrying a baby. I don't give two shits about whether or not she's light skinned. And like I said, and more importantly, I don't care if she said that about Lupita. I would still feel the same way. That doesn't negate or change anything. I'm not defending Cardi. I'm not one of those people. If anything, I'm the complete opposite of that. So it has nothing to do with Cardi being lesbian. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired. If it was another dark-skinned woman, y'all wouldn't have nothing to say. No, actually, I would. I would have something to say. Because I don't like it either way. I can't speak for everybody else. I'm speaking for me. Stop with the whole light skin thing. It's going to piss me off, okay? Because just move on, okay? Then, this is a point that I've seen a lot of people say, and Cardi said it too, which is you don't have kids, whatever, so you can't speak to me. I'm going to tell y'all something about this. I fall on two sides of that coin because as somebody that just had a child, right? And I'm 30. Meaning all the way up until I was about 28, 29, anytime I had an opinion on somebody else's parenting or kids or whatever, I'm always being told, well, you don't have kids, so you don't understand. And I always felt like, yes, there are certain things that I'm never going to understand without me having a child. There are certain things that I could never truly understand because I don't have a child. But there are certain things that to me are just common fucking sense that you don't have to have children to understand. And I also feel like sometimes when you don't have children, you actually have a better view of things because it's kind of like from the outside looking in. You know how sometimes when you're in something, you can't really see what's going on. So sometimes you need an outside perspective. I feel like people that don't have children, as somebody who just had a damn child, I feel like there are things that we can contribute. I think that there are things that we can say. I think there are things that that we do offer that are helpful, because best to believe when y'all ain't got nobody else to watch them damn kids, who y'all asking? Normally the person that don't got kids. I was the person that all of the kids was coming to because I didn't have any children. So whenever it's up to, call her. So I'm good. This is what I do agree with. I hate when y'all try to say, oh, you shouldn't have an opinion when you don't have kids. But then when it's time for somebody to watch those kids, pick those kids up, do for those kids because you can, then you want to call the person without no kids. I don't like that. However, I will say that, and I don't know this for sure, because I saw some people say that Crissle wants kids, and I saw other people say that they don't. But this is my thing. I do feel like if you do not want children, like if you are dead set in your ways of not wanting children, then I think it could be hard to understand like other people's other like women and their processes of having babies. So for example, when Kid Fury and Crissle was like, damn, that means you're gonna have 4 kids all under the age of like 9. Okay, because to y'all, because number one, y'all don't want, Kid Fury has said that he wants children, that he wants kids, but he's accepting of the fact that he might not be able to, right? With that, I'm not saying that this is the facts, but I think that when you either accepted the fact that you're not going to have kids, or you don't want to have kids, or even if you are, like for me, right? I'm a one and doneer. This one little kid that I have, that's the end of that. I'm not having another kid. I put that on my mama. I'm not having another kid. So yeah, so 4 kids under the age of 10 for me is an absolute no-go. And for like Kid Fury and Crissle was saying like, that's absolutely crazy. But maybe for somebody like Cardi, that's exactly how she wants it. You have some people who purposely will have kids back to back to back like that. Like there's somebody I work with. She has a kid that's the same age as mine, right? No older than 2 yet. And she told me how her and her husband are potentially looking at having another kid, or her getting pregnant within the next couple of months. To me, that's asinine. I'm not about to have a kid under 1 and also be pregnant with another. Or when I see people be walking around with 2 to 3 kids under the age of 5, for me, that doesn't make sense. For me, that sounds dumb. For me, that sounds stressful. But I can't put what I want and what I think on somebody else. That might work for somebody. Like I told y'all about that family member that has all of those kids. For me, for everybody else, that's too much, but she likes it. That's why she keep having kids, because she likes continually to have children. Now, I'm not saying that that's in the best interest of the kid, but like I said, that whole idea of like, oh, well, having 4 under 10, maybe that's what she wants. Maybe she always wanted her kids to be close in age. Just because that's not what you may deem as fun, you may deem as something that you can handle, that don't mean that that's the same for somebody else. So I'm saying all I have to say is that I think that even if you don't have kids, you can have an opinion on things. I do agree that there's certain things that you will never understand if you didn't like carry a child, if you didn't give birth, if you don't. I do think that there are certain things that before I had a child, I did not. I thought I understood it. Be clear, I thought I understood it. But I had no clue until that baby was in my womb, till she was kicking my ass, till I had to give birth, till after birth. All of that is, again, it's all things that you think you understand. And again, as somebody who has a child now, some of the things, again, are common sense that I didn't have to have a child for. But some of the things, they really are new, and I would never know if I didn't have a kid. So that's why I halfway agree with that statement. But again, I think it's more so if, like, what is your ideal of a good family? Like, is your ideal of a very good family 2 children because you feel like the parent can put equally, an equal amount of time into each kid, versus you feeling like 4 is too much for a parent to equally divide their time with their child? That's a personal thing. You get what I'm saying? So that's something else too that I wanted to touch on, is the she don't have kids thing. Kind of agree with it, kind of don't. Then there's been this small conversation. I haven't seen too much about this, but I want to talk about it. About like shaming and chastising women for being pregnant versus I guess being more like helping and more guiding within what you're trying to say. And I'm sorry, I don't believe in chastising women because they're pregnant. I'm sorry. I feel like there's a way to hold women, because and another crazy thing about this is I love how we're just only talking about the women, and we ain't putting no emphasis on what the man does. That's a whole nother conversation, but fuck it, let's talk about the woman since we're here. I feel like, yes, there is a way to say to a woman, like I said, okay, in my opinion, it's starting to look like it's a lot. It may be a little bit, it seems like to me it may be a lot on your body, it seems like it may be a lot on your mental, it seems like it may be a lot, but I think we need to be really, really careful about that, because like chastising them and yelling at them and berating them is the reasons why people don't say shit when they are pregnant, like Cardi said. I think Cardi is very aware of the fact that people were going to be disappointed, which we'll get into her response in a minute, which is why she didn't tell her parents, because I think she probably thought the same way that Crissle snapped on her is the same way that her parents was going to snap on her. But the difference is that Crissle is not her fucking mom. Her parents is her parents. But even with that being said, Cardi is 33 years old. They can disagree and all of this other stuff, but at the end of the day, she's a grown-ass woman and she decided to keep the baby. I just don't think that it's helpful. I don't think people take, and this is what I'm saying about when people are like, oh, well, everything don't need to be softly handed to somebody. Sometimes bitches need the hard truth of the matter. Okay, well, it's kind of like how like when coaches, like coach people, everybody needs to be coached differently. Some people, they need to be yelled at the top of their lungs. Some people, you need to kind of hold their hand. I just don't agree with yelling at a pregnant woman. I don't see the point of chastising a woman who's already sitting in her decision. That's what I don't get, because I'm all about moving forward. Now, if let's just say Cardi and Crissle is friends, and Cardi would have came to Crissle before she decided to have the baby and said that I'm pregnant, and Crissle goes off on this whole long tangent, okay, cool. But my thing is, when she made the decision to keep the baby, we need to talk about what we're doing moving forward. We can't go backwards anymore. So sitting there telling her how it was a stupid ass decision and don't make any fucking sense, how is that going to, number one, help anything moving forward? Number two, your message is getting lost. Like, you saying that you care, your message is getting lost by you berating somebody. We're gonna listen to Cardi's response, but she mentioned within her response that I can tell that people are just disappointed. People wanted me to take some time off after my marriage and then get with somebody and get pregnant. I understand that, but we are where we are, and that's how I feel. Like, you can feel how you want to feel, but we are where we are now. And again, chastising that woman ain't going to get the point across. It's not going to get your point across of what you're trying to say. It's going in one ear and out the other, because you're muddling it down with a whole bunch of shit that don't matter. Let's stick to the point. The point of the matter is, like I said, this is the crazy part, right? Kid Fury said everything that Crissle said, but you see how he said it versus how she said it. That's all we're taught. That's what the majority of us is talking about. Not what you said or some of what you said, but it's how you said it as well. There was a lot of assumptions made, and at the end of the day, like Kid Fury said, do I think she should have did it? No. Do I think it's smart? No. Do I think it's going to be a lot on her? Yes. But is it going to make me not support her? No. And I'm not going to be up here chastising. And I feel like the reason why Kid Fury didn't chastise her is because y'all know Kid Fury is real. Kid Fury do not play about women and like their ability to give birth. That man he do not play. He gives the tens when it comes to that. So I think that's another reason why he was like, girl, I don't agree, but like, who am I? Who the fuck am I? So my whole thing about it is just like, there's a way, like I said, of giving the message to Cardi of like, I don't think that was a smart idea. I think that, you could have maybe possibly waited, you putting your career on the line, you're doing this, you're doing that, which I don't agree with the career part, but whatever. Say whatever it is that you want to feel. But I think all of that extra shit, it's not helpful. You're chastising her. You're not being helpful. You're literally berating her. For what? Unnecessary. I said this in my other video, but I want to reemphasize. Crissle is not a therapist. That's how I know people who don't, if anything, that's how I know people who don't listen to the show, is the people who keep saying that she's a therapist. Because if you listen to the show, you know that Crissle is not a therapist. Crissle went to school to learn about therapy, and when she was in school, she had clients, or students that she dealt with. But once she graduated, like last year, she's not a therapist. Now, I get people are saying like, well, if you were in therapy, there's certain things. Okay, well, therapists ain't perfect. They ain't perfect, but she's not a therapist. Like, we gotta stop. She is not a therapist. She went to school for such things, but she ain't one. So stop trying to hold her to the standard like Dr. G from Married to Medicine, who's an actual psychiatrist. That man needs to. That's somebody we need to be on his ass about, because that's ridiculous. Another thing is that I don't think that Crissle is jealous of Cardi. Not one thing in me feels like Crissle is jealous of Cardi. No, not at all. Not. I don't think that Crissle wants anything that Cardi has other than maybe more money, and that ain't her. That is all of us. We all wish that we had that much money. I do feel like, my opinion, I do feel like when Crissle kind of switched and was like, you guys just can't keep having kids just to have them. You need to have them with intention and with guidance and with this. I personally do think that maybe some of that was her own personal shit that was kind of coming up a little bit. That's probably why she was so. I mean, she said she's passionate about it because of therapy, but of her learning about things and how it affects kids. But I also think that's a personal thing. I don't know what her situation is. I'm just saying I think that that's another personal thing, which is why she got a little bit upset about that. Her age has nothing to do with it. I think if anything, Crissle being 42 is probably why she's more frustrated, because she sees women that's younger than her maybe not necessarily make like the right decisions, and that frustrates her. I don't think that has anything to do with anything. And let's talk about the pro-choice of it all. Oh gosh, because now we're getting into pro-life and pro-choice, and that's how far we have fallen with this situation. We're now at the pro-choice of it all. We're at the pro-choice of it all. And whether or not somebody is pro-choice or pro-life or whatever, this is my whole thing. This is how I feel. Maybe it was Jay Lee that was I was watching her video on this, and she was kind of going through the same thing that I went through with the video, and except hers had the words on it. I gotta find that one. But one of the lines that Crissle said that I also played in mind was, she said, your mom doesn't get to just go around fucking whoever she wants and keeping whatever y'all drop off in her uterus. Well, actually, that's actually the point of like being like pro-choice, is that, and not only that, but like just being sexually liberated as a woman. Like, you can indeed fuck whoever you want. You can indeed decide to keep or to not keep whatever somebody drops off in your uterus. That is literally the whole point. That's the whole point. That Cardi has the ability and the freedom to do that in this country. That is literally the entire point. Now, what you could say is, I don't think it's smart for your mama to be fucking everybody. I don't think it's smart for your mama to be keeping everything in within her uterus that gets dropped off. Okay, whatever. But that's also everybody's opinion. That ain't got to be necessarily your opinion. I mean, that ain't got to be everybody else's opinion of things. I don't even want to get into the whole pro-choice of it all. I'm already 20 minutes in. I want to play this Cardi thing. I want to play this Cardi response. Oh, crap. Did I lose it? Yeah, I want to play this Cardi response. I know I'm 20 minutes in. I don't care. Y'all are here with me. So, like I said, I felt like Cardi's response was really good. I felt like she was way more mature than I expected her to be. I also think that with her possibly like maybe just being closer towards the end of her pregnancy, I think she just, let me tell you something. As somebody that was pregnant, I wasn't arguing with nobody my whole pregnancy. You ain't about to get me. Okay, it's like 12 minutes long, but
because I just feel like so many people like expected certain things from me. Like, I think people like wanted me to leave my old relationship.
This is Cardi in Twitter Spaces.
For like 2 years and then come back out and be a rich white billionaire and move to Dubai and shit like that. Whatever.
I don't agree with that. I don't think that people wanted you to marry a rich white billionaire and go to Dubai. I think people wanted you to take the time off from your marriage, take some time to heal mentally, physically from that, and then get back into a relationship. But again, that is us projecting what we want on her, whether or not it's not our life, hun. It's not our life.
What the fuck? But that's not me. That's not what's going on
in
my life.
That's just not where she is.
However, right now in my life, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And I have my choices. I do choices. Whatever is my choices is my destiny. You know what I'm saying? One day I might be happy, the next year I might not. But you know what? I make that choice, and I'm a grown woman, and I do and it is what it is. But one thing about my choices in life, one thing I don't ever regret is my kids.
That's another thing too that I can say about Cardi is, like I told you, my one family member, she sometimes will have kids and then it's clear that she's like completely stressed out or whatever. But at the end of the day, it don't seem like Cardi be complaining like her Cardi be complaining. It seems like she get pregnant, and I have more so a problem with bitches who want to constantly get pregnant and then turn around and get upset or be so stressed out. Like, stand on your 210. I got pregnant. That's what I did. I have to live with the decisions of it. Period.
So I really don't give a fuck. To me, my kids is always going to be a blessing. And another thing is that it's like some people have so many different opinions about what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I might not be the best. Well, I feel like I'm the best at everything I do. But some people might have opinion on my work, right? You might think I'm not the best dressed. You might not think I'm the best rapper. You might not think I'm the best at something.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing nobody can fuck with me or tell me is about my motherhood. Like, that title, I'll beat bitches up for that title, because one thing I know I am is I'm a great mother.
And that's something else too. I don't really like speaking on people as a mama. I think that not people that I don't know. Because people are sensitive about their fucking kids. Well, if you care about your kids and if you care about your motherhood, you're very sensitive about it. Yes, I do think that there are certain things from the outside looking in that it seems like Cardi could do a little bit better, but at the same time, unless it's something that's real blatant, I don't really like to talk about people in like how they are as mamas or whatever. Like, it's just a personal thing. I just mind my fucking business. Again, I mostly mind my business.
And I take a lot of pride for that. I think people don't understand. I don't know what people think. Like, do people think I live in Miami and my kids live in New York and like we far away from each other? No. I live with my kids. I live in New Jersey. My kids live in New Jersey. And let me tell you something about motherhood, right? Unless a man has you put up.
And that's pretty much her responding to Crissle, pretty much saying like I said earlier, maybe Cardi keeps having these kids because she's not dealing with the children on an everyday basis, so she don't know how much time you actually have to put in to having kids and actually being there for them. I told y'all in my last video, I thought that was an unfair assumption to make. I'm not the biggest Cardi B fan, but I follow her, on not Twitter, but I follow her on Instagram, and I see her. Them kids be with her all the time. I don't know, but I'm just saying I don't ever see Cardi without her kids unless she's working. So I thought that was an unfair assumption. So that's what she's saying, because like, it's not like, yeah, I have nannies and I have help, but I'm with my kids every fucking day.
To be a housewife and you don't have a job and you wake up every single day to be a housewife and be a house mom and everything, you're always going to have to sacrifice some time to work and make money. Like, for example, right? My schedule is different, but most women in America, in the world, they have a 9 to 5.
Right.
So, because they have a 9 to 5, a lot of women spend time away during that 9 to 5 from their kids. Some of them cannot even pick them up at 3 o'clock. Some of them cannot drop them off to school because they gotta be at their work at 9.
Right.
That's what happens when you're a mom and you have a job. You sacrifice some time.
Absolutely.
So don't tell me that it's like, oh, you're not raising your kids because you got all this work. What are you talking about?
Right. And I also said that in my video as well, which is like, I said this, I was like, I don't know why there's this assumption that because Cardi is who she is, that number one, she don't spend time with her kids. And I said this in my last video. I said, Cardi probably spends more time with her children than like the average, like she said, 9 to 5 mom does. That's the honest to God truth. She's probably more active. They probably see her way more because, like I said, she can bring them with her. Like she said, as somebody, thank God, and I said this before, I work a 9 to 5, right? It's actually about to be 9. I work a 9 to 5, but I only have to go into office 2 days a week. Other than that, I work from home. And it's great because as someone that has a freaking 1 year old, it's been great to be able to work from home and also have my kid with me all the time. It ain't a minute of the day that this little girl ain't with me. Although I am working, at the most, she may go in the room for 20 minutes while I have a meeting. Or like I said, I might sit her in another room where I have a meeting. But outside of that, mind you, I have to leave this house 2 days a week. So one day she's with, her father is here. Me and her father together. It's not like we're separate, but I'm just saying, like, her father's off so he can be here with her, or she goes to my mom's house. But be clear, even that to me is a privilege, because not everybody has the privilege of being able to be home with their kids. Not everybody got the privilege of not putting their kids in daycare. Most people in America gotta put their kids in daycare. They don't have the village or the community or the support like I do. And so if I'm specifically using Cardi probably sees her kids on an average, like I said, more than probably more than I do, like I said, in the sense of I have to go to work. She could bring her kids with her whenever she wants, like she said. If she decides when she gets up, so she can take them to school and pick them up and spend time with them. When as a regular mom, like she said, unless you're a housewife, that's not your life. So I did not like the insinuation that because she has a career and because she's this superstar or whatever, that she's not going to have time for her kids. Again, I think she probably spend more time with her kids than the average 9 to 5 fucking mom do.
When I had my daughter, Culture, and I was doing four to five different shows in a week, I had my kid with me.
I said that in my video.
Then,
she probably had her with her.
COVID came and everything, but I'm always with my kids. I live with my kids. You could see it in the attitudes of my children. Like me and my kids are like best friends. Like, because I see them almost every day, every single day.
And I want to also say the reason why she's putting a lot of emphasis on this is because Crissle was emphasizing within her thing that when you have children, the crux of her argument was like, you shouldn't just be having kids to have kids. You need to have kids that you're able to invest the time into, the emotional energy into, and pretty much be present, for them to be, a healthy human being. So that's what Cardi is saying, is like, don't try to make it seem like I'm not present for my kids, because I am.
Know me and I know them very well. This ain't no nanny, this and that shit. Like, yes, I have people that help me with my kids, but this ain't no, I just dropped them off and somebody else is raising them for me. It's very clear that that's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Second, sorry, I'm getting my makeup done. Like, a bitch can't tell me, no woman can tell me, especially a woman that don't have kids, can tell me what it's like to have kids and what I do. Nobody can tell me, no bitch can tell me about motherhood. They don't have no fucking kids.
And I just addressed that earlier about how I feel about that. I feel half and half about them. Continue, Cardi.
So, don't even do that. Sorry, I'm getting my makeup done. Like, for real. And this is another thing, too. Every single time I'm knocked up and everything, like, this is why I wait to say that I'm knocked up when I'm, like, almost done with my pregnancy. Because
I'm going to skip a little bit ahead, because all she's saying is that this is why she don't say anything, because she feels like people are real negative.
Things. And as a grown woman in your 40s with no kids, you talking about, and I hope you don't die on a table knowing that I have 4 children. Like, it's just very dark and it's very nasty. And
I didn't talk about that comment on the thing, but I thought that was a bit too much too. I thought it was a bit too much.
Like I said, I do understand, because I do understand how people kind of want, have an expectation of me and kind of wanted something from me, but It's like, I don't know. It's just, that was just kind of disgusting.
So again, that's why I said and see, this is what I'm saying. Your message got muddled down in all of the extra shit that was said that wasn't necessary. Because if you listen to what she's saying, I get it. People expected more from me, because that's what Crissle said. She's saying, I get that. People expected more. People didn't expect me to get pregnant. And that's all fine and well. And I'm a celebrity, so you could talk about me. That's fine. But some of it was a little bit too much. I don't think she's wrong.
About me, and then like to play with my motherhood, like, bitch, you could never fucking never, ever, 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 ever. Yes, women with jobs have to sacrifice time away from their kid. It's no different from a 9 to 5, baby. You don't think women that don't have a 9 to 5 wish they could wake up, take their kids to school, go to Pilates or take a nap until it's time to pick the kids up, and then just cook and read them a bedtime story and blah blah blah. That's not everybody's reality. You don't know that though because you don't have kids. Me,
like I said, I don't think that has anything to do with her not having kids. I think that there was a lot of assumptions made about how Cardi is as a mother. I don't think that it's like an overall thing about, oh, how moms are. I think it was just an assumption that Cardi is not hands-on with her kids because, I don't know what, she's like a superstar. Like, I never got to the crux of why she thinks that Cardi doesn't take care of her kids. But, yeah, I think it's more so specifically about you, Cardi, not all moms, but continue.
I don't have a 9 to 5, but there's times that it's like, okay, maybe I have to sacrifice a week or two away from my kids so I can make this bread so they can have a good life.
That's a fact.
My kids are smart as fuck. My kids have everything that I never had. And you know what? It's more, and you're right. It is more than just like, oh, she have money. She have money. She could raise them. Blah blah blah. It's more than money. But guess what? Besides money and besides me providing for my kids, I also give them a lot of time and a lot of love.
And to me, that should be where the end of the conversation is, at least for Crissle is concerned. Because, like she said, Crissle was like, I know the Cardi stans are going to say that she has money, but that's not all that matters. And Cardi said, that's true. Money does not matter. But in addition to having money, I also make sure that I provide love, time, and care, specifically time for my children, which is all that Crissle was saying, which is like, I don't think that you doing all of this is not going to allow you to have the time. Well, she's saying that she does. She's saying that she understands that it's not about money and that she does spend time. She gets that time is important. So can we wrap this shit the fuck up? Like today, since now all of this has been addressed, let's wrap this shit the fuck up.
That's why you see that my daughter is super attached to me. That's why my son loves sleeping next to me, tucked with me. My daughter too, and my new baby, she loves me. So you can't talk to me about my motherhood, baby girl, ever. I don't know if you upset at yourself at life because you have an expectation of yourself. You wanted something for yourself and you don't have it. But don't put that shit on me, cause I could judge you. I could be talking about what you was doing when you was 33. You know what I'm saying? That's none of my business. And if you want to be in my business, I get it. Because I am a celebrity. But you're not going to be wishing all type of weird shit on me. And you're not going to be talking about what I take pride in the most. Because I don't play that shit.
Don't play that
shit. No nigga can fucking play me. No bitch can ever play me on this shit. And that's a fact.
That's pretty much it. It's a couple more minutes, but she ended up saying, she also addressed when Crissle was like, oh, all she'll do is like, you know, she's talking about the mommy makeover thing. She was like, all she gives a fuck about is the way that she looks. And Cardi addressed that at the end, and she was like, what are you talking about? She was like talking about, oh, all she cares about is how she looks. No, all I give a, she said, the number one thing I give a fuck about is my kids. I don't give a fuck about how I look. I thought that was a weird comment too, because Cardi, yes, Cardi is she's a fashion girl. Like, she is a fashion girl down. But Cardi constantly gets on like live with no fucking makeup. Hair not done, makeup not done. This bitch be in the bed with a bonnet on. Face be fucked up. Didn't even wash her face. Didn't brush her teeth. When you be seeing her around sometimes, that girl just be having on sweats and a hoodie. So I don't agree with that part of all she cares about is her looks, because there's plenty of times that Cardi be looking busted and lucid on live. So I don't agree with that part either. But all I have to say is, I hope we can wrap this shit the fuck up. Cardi responded, thankfully, in a mostly mature way. I'm pretty sure that Crissle will address it this week coming up on the read, and we can wrap this shit up with a bow. The point is, she's pregnant. I hope she has a great pregnancy. I hope that everything goes well. You know, that's all I got. Let's wrap this shit the fuck up.